welcome to another episode of AATBirds Weekly Report. Schedule has dropped, and that's what we're going to talk about. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike Bauer from Dynasty Rewind. We all know about that, at Rewind CEO. He's joined me to talk about the schedule a little bit. Going to touch on a couple defensive backs that we would like to talk about kind of from last show. Mentioned a little bit more today, but of course, schedule release was tonight. Of course, you get the leaks throughout the whole week, and you start seeing a little by little, they start to trickle them out. But one main thing that you did see last year, they had 2 primetime games. This year, they have 5 primetime games. But
could be more.
I know you don't like that.
Could be more though too. You never know with the flex.
No, you are correct there. But what does it tell you when a team jumps up this many primetime games? It shows you that the league kind of thinks them be a pretty good team, pretty good ball club.
I agree
so,
with
that. You have sprinkled in here. I'm going to pull it up. We'll quickly mention the preseason is 3 weeks, 2 away. A little bit of weird stuff Mike and I were talking about. 1 p.m. Sunday preseason games.
Weird one.
Very weird. And a Saturday 7 p.m. isn't too weird, but usually you're used to a Thursday or Friday. But Eagles only have 1 home game preseason because they have that extra home game in the regular season. So that's how they do it. So you have those. We ain't going to talk about those. It's preseason. It is what it is. But there's 3.
It's always the Jets.
It's always the Jets, yes.
Always the Jets.
Two other teams. But getting into the schedule, and
full screen.
Of course, we saw earlier today, they mentioned 2 games, 9/11, which is the first game of the year, at Detroit. You knew Detroit was going to be a road game.
It feels late.
The first game of the year was going to be a road game because they announced earlier in the week that week 2, Monday night, was the home opener.
Doesn't that feel like a late start to the season to you, like the 11th of September?
I'm so used to when they used to start, because my sister's birthday is September 3rd. They used to always start around that weekend all the time. But now it seems to be the second week of September it starts. And I remember when going to school as a kid, you always knew school was going to kind of start basically when the season started because of Labor Day, all that.
If you think about it, by the time the NFL season starts, the college season feels like it's halfway over already. Because they start early August. So,
that's I understand the start, but you would think adding the extra game, they'd want to start a week earlier just because you look the last game of the year with the Giants, it's either the 7th or the 8th because there's a doubleheader on Monday night that hasn't been announced. That won't be announced until later. But I'll run down the schedule real quick. First game of the year, week 1, 1 p.m. matchup with the Detroit Lions. Week 2, Monday night, home opener, Minnesota Vikings. Week 3, going to that dump of a stadium, Washington, to play at 1 p.m. to play your former quarterback. We'll talk about him once we get, later. We'll do that. Then after that is.
May I interject?
Go ahead.
I saw a game at FedEx Field. I actually liked it. And one thing I will say, they are more conducive to tailgating than Lincoln Financial Field. I did not wait in line for 45 minutes to take a leak.
Because no one's at that stadium.
It was packed. It was like 90% Eagles fans. That was also the season opener in 2017. So I was in the corner of the end zone where Fletcher Cox ran the ball in after Cousins got strip sack. So it's actually a pretty cool stadium, to be honest with you. But where I was didn't collapse upon itself either. So that was nice. And also, I hate the name the Commanders. So, and I will never like that name. Just wanted to throw that
that's tough. I may just call him Washington still. I don't know. It's just how kind of gotten used to that. But
I'm fine with that. Let's just say Washington. Let's just do that.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Week 4, 1 p.m. Dougie P returns to Lincoln Financial Field.
I still love Doug, by the way. Still love Doug.
Yeah. I think he gets a standing ovation. That's just my opinion. I think they still will give him. He brought the only Super Bowl to the city. So for me, I I stand and give him an ovation. No other coach has been able to do what he did for this franchise, even though it was a short tenure with him. He still got them to the ultimate goal.
Well, kind
Oh,
of. 1960, Buck Shaw.
okay. I'm talking about. All right.
Vince Lombardi's only playoff loss. That's
I know. Let's say only Super Bowl victory. We'll go there, so you can't.
Also, I hate when people discredit NFL championships just because the Super Bowl
Super
didn't
Bowl.
exist. Well, that doesn't count. It's like, dude, they won the championship. What do you want from me? All right. I don't know. I wasn't alive. I'm just saying it happened. It counts in some capacity.
Well, listen, people of, week 6, the Dallas Cowboys, there's a lot of fans that like to bring up all the Super Bowl wins they have. And most of the time, the people who are bringing them up never even saw them win the Super Bowl. So really,
they don't have a VCR to watch it on.
Exactly. 25 years, going to be 26. But week 5, they go to Arizona, 425 matchup.
It's going to be a good
no
game.
DeAndre Hopkins in this game still. He has a 6-game suspension. So that's another little fact there. And it's an interesting one along the lines of that as well. Week 6, Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. Then they get their bye week 7, a lot earlier than it was last year. It's nice. Week 7, it's kind of not in the middle of the season anymore, but again, it's not terrible. It's not week 4 like you and I were talking about. It was not an early bye week.
I hated that too, because it's like the season just started to get rolling and everyone, you're doing good, and it's like week 4 bye week, and it's like, well, let's just all get hurt now.
Yeah, exactly. So week 7 bye week, then home week 8, Pittsburgh Steelers come to Lincoln Financial Field, and then they have a week 9, Thursday night football on Amazon. Texans 8:15. That's going to be interesting with Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels as the announcers. I like that. But then they have a 11-day or a 10-day window, so almost like a mini bye week, because then they go and they play the Washington Commanders, and a return of a former quarterback to Lincoln Financial Field on Monday Night Football. Then you have the Colts, week 11, at Indianapolis. Week 12, Sunday Night Football at home against the Green Bay Packers. At home against the Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown facing his former team. Then on the road for 3 straight road games, which I think is a little interesting there. You have the Giants, the Bears, and the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve, 425. Then week 17, at home against the Saints. Every year we play the Saints. It's almost like a new rivalry. And then week 18, finish out with the Giants.
So one thing I noticed here, there's only 2 times that we have back-to-back home games. And we do not have, whereas at one point we have 3 road games in a row, we do not have 3 home games in a row. It's kind of spaced out for the most part. I would like to say I hate that both Cowboys games are primetime, just because you hate losing to the Cowboys. And you hate when it's on primetime. And of course they could win too, but it just makes it worse if you lose to the Cowboys on primetime. Okay? It just makes it worse. It just does. And plus, let's not forget, both of those Cowboys games last year were awful.
Yeah. Well, the last one of the year, it was the second and third teamers playing against the starters.
That was worse to me than the first one that year, because it's like they came out, they said, we're not trying.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. But, I mean, overall, just looking at it, I'm not going to predict wins and losses.
No,
but
I don't.
Minnesota.
I can't predict wins and losses because you can't. The thing, you can say, oh, I could see this many wins. But again, you don't know what the roster is going to look like yet. When you get into June, July, when you see the roster somewhat set, then you can kind of maybe start getting a little bit of a prediction together. But right now, and we're going to get into it the second part of the show, talking about the secondary, because right now this roster is not finalized. Now the roster is never finalized, but it's not at a point where you can say, all right, they could field the team of 53, they put them on there and you'll feel comfortable. Right now you don't.
No No Dallas to end the season this year. I feel like they've been ending the season against Dallas for
Ever?
it feels like at least 3 years, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
No, because I'm
no.
sorry, forgive me, because Doug's last year, the last game was against
Washington.
Washington. Okay, but I don't know. It just feels like it's been Dallas more often than not, and I
It's
hate,
always it's always a divisional matchup. So it's either
which I
Washington
get.
Giants and Dallas. But you have seen 2019 was Dallas. Um, last year was Dallas. Then you had Washington, and so you had the mixed in there. But I don't like, and I mentioned it to you, I don't like seeing the Giants this late again. Like 14 and 18, they're playing, and I'd like to see them, mixed in a little bit earlier. But
Okay, but at least this year, we're playing our division opponents spread out throughout the year.
okay, I agree with you with that. Last year was, yeah, no, I
That's
absolutely agree with you with that.
we had it was Dallas week 3, and then it's like everything was all consecutive. I'm like, who the hell made this schedule?
Yeah.
So
Eh,
this is a lot better, and I like the fact that I don't know. I kind of dig this schedule. I like the fact that we're seeing Tennessee, um, Pittsburgh. I always like when we play Pittsburgh because it's going to be a tough game. Um, Green Bay. It's like what is Green Bay going to be?
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get with Green Bay sometimes. Houston is a huge question mark.
Jacksonville's a huge question mark. You're still playing them early enough to,
Yeah, they're
the
going to
new
be
system there.
competitive, much more competitive than Urban Meyer's team. Hey, you know what? We could be realistic here too, Johnny. We don't know what we're going to get out of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, last
No.
year they were the best team in the division. There's a likelihood that they are again. But man, if the Dallas Cowboys ever got a competent head coach with the talent they have on that roster, like just look out. Like seriously, and I'm talking both sides of the football. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz, and you got Micah Parsons. I mean, they have some talent over there in Dallas. I hate to say it, but I'm not a Mike McCarthy fan at all. Um, I dig this schedule though. I
Yeah.
like it.
No, I understand what you're saying with Dallas, and but again, you also look at they did lose some key contributors on their team, so
Can't pay everybody.
you have to look at it that way. But also look at the schedule. You open up week 1 against Detroit. Detroit's still trying to figure themselves out. They're starting to get these younger players. You know, they're not a juggernaut. To me, that's a nice first game to start the season. And then Minnesota, Minnesota's going to be tough. They're going to have a good offense. Kirk Cousins does struggle in prime time, but again, you have Adam Thielen, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Justin Jefferson. They've got some weapons on their squad. And you look at the divisional matchups with Washington. You don't know what's going to be with Washington, how their offense is going to look with Carson Wentz. So, but no, you're right. I do like this schedule. I like having Arizona without DeAndre Hopkins. They
That's
still have weapons. Don't get me wrong. They still
they
have
do.
Zach Ertz. They still have Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore, AJ Green. They still have some pieces. Kyler Murray is an electric quarterback. He could be hurt by week 5. We don't know that. Seems to always get hurt. But again, you're playing without their number 1 wide receiver and one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL. So
Let's not forget they also moved on from Jordan Hicks as well.
who was on Minnesota now. So
Yeah.
Shores up Minnesota's defense there with that. But
You
you look at the schedule and you like it. I like the primetime games because it shows you what the NFL thinks of the Eagles.
Yeah.
And kind of how it's, you get the 3 road games at the end of the year, but it's not like you're going super far. But you look at it, I think it's a lot more favorable than it has been in years past. You get the bye week 7. Like I said, you get that 10-day layoff from when you play a Thursday night game to then playing a Monday night game. So you get a little bit of a mini bye there. And, it's spread out pretty nice, but it's going to be – I know they said the Eagles have one of the easiest schedules. You never know that because every year teams change. You look at the playoffs, usually about 50% of the teams basically switch. 50% are out, 50% are in. So you never really know. But, again, I like the way the schedule lines up. I like the primetime games. I like what they have here. So I'm ready for some Eagles football. I know it's only May 12th, but
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm
One
ready for it.
thing I don't like towards the back end of the schedule here, go to Chicago on the 18th. Then they have to travel again on a short week.
Yeah,
I
to
know it's
Dallas.
only short by one day, but it just kind of stinks. How do you feel about the Christmas time games? I mean, I know obviously they play on Sundays or Saturdays that late in the season, but how do you feel about the Christmas Eve game? It's a
Um,
425 game. Gonna have to reschedule how I do Christmas this year because I'm staying home for it. I can tell you that. And yes, I will be smoking a ham on the grill.
uh, that sounds good.
It
But
is. It's easy.
it's different. You got to try to adjust things with that. You like the festive seasons and all that. I love the fall time. I love football season. I just love everything about it. You know, cool, colder weather. Uh, you put some chili on. You got, sit there, watch the games. It's no matter what it is. I enjoy football season from September to January. I enjoy that time of year. I've had ever since I was little, so um, I'll always enjoy it. When it comes to like on special occasions, whether it's Thanksgiving, they've had a number of Thanksgiving games, Christmas Eve games. The one Christmas Eve game that I can remember was back in 2005 when they went to Arizona and Mike McMahon got to quarterback the Eagles.
God.
Um, yeah. Mike McMahon, Ryan Oates, Reggie Brown. Yeah, that was a tough season towards the end of that year.
A
But
little
again,
bit.
still watch the game. It's like a car wreck. You can't turn away. You got to look. So still watch them even though they were dreadful. But I don't mind it. It's just, again, I'd rather have it Christmas Eve than on Christmas Day. Christmas Day,
Yeah,
there's too much going on, and I
I
just
just hate the comments from my family like, "Oh, that's more important than me." Well, yeah. I mean, I've made that quite clear throughout the first 37 years of my life. Why would I change that now? Yeah. What do you want from me?
but
One thing, just looking at this here too. So Pittsburgh at home around Halloween, and then short week, got to travel to Houston. That's going to be tough too because you're traveling, and Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh's usually a tough game. Good defense, good
tough team.
running, good running team. So just a couple parts in the schedule, but then yeah, you do get that nice little mini buys. So I just hope that Houston doesn't end up being a trap game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
which
I agree with you there. Davis Mills
could
did
be.
play well last year when he was on the field, so
He wasn't bad.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you. But again, looking at the schedule too, the games I could possibly see being flexed, the Tennessee game and maybe the New Orleans game. Otherwise, I don't really know they're going to flex anything because of the way the schedule is put together. They're not going to have three straight primetime games. So the New England now it could be flexed to 425, which I find with two. But I could see the Tennessee, I could
Love
see the Colts being a
425.
425 game if the both teams are playing really well, and then the New Orleans I could see being flexed to like a 425 slot and everything. Those are the three that I could see being flexed out.
And if you recall, last year we had a game unflexed, I believe. Didn't they have one that they moved like from 425 to 1 o'clock, if I remember correctly?
It may have been. I don't remember which one.
Hmm.
But no, I
Yeah,
agree with you. I think it was. But
could always happen.
you know, schedule's always fun. Schedule release is always fun. It's uh it's pretty comical how much time this gets on Twitter and everything when they release in the schedule.
Did
Um,
you hear what they want to do next year?
no, I did not.
Or possibly in the future make the schedule release a week-long thing?
Well, didn't they kind of do that this year? They dropped a game on Monday, then a game or two
Yeah.
on Tuesday, and then a game on Thursday, and then
It's like stop. Just
just release it. See, I liked
just
when
be
they
as
released it
efficient.
like in April, but now they're waiting until May because they want to have something every single month.
Which I get. There is no such thing as football season anymore. It's year round.
It's year round. No, I agree with you. It is year round. And, talking about football season, and the New York Giants released James Bradbury. Their starting corner last year. They needed some cap space. He clears about $10 million off their salary cap. So he's now a free agent. There is a number of teams that I could see being fits with him. We mentioned him last episode. Definitely a player I would love to see the Eagles sign. Plug him into that cornerback 2 role, and then have him and Darius. I feel like that'd be an absolute great combo, great tandem in the defensive backfield. So I did a little bit of research, and I looked at his games last year and the receivers that he went up against. So Cortland Sutton, 4 catches, 49 yards.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin, and this is in 2 games, 4 catches, 73 yards.
All right.
Calvin Ridley, 5 catches, 41 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 2 catches, 55 yards. Now, he played Michael Gallup later in the year more. His percentage share was more on Michael Gallup later in the year. Robert Woods, 4 catches, 44 yards. DJ Moore, 2 catches, 16 yards. Mike Evans, 8 catches, 76 yards. And that's 8 catches on 14 targets.
Okay.
Devontae Smith, 5 catches, 78 yards in 2 games. Mike Williams, 3 catches, 49 yards. Michael Gallup, 3 catches, 31 yards. And then Allen Robinson, 1 catch for 10 yards.
So Bradbury can still do it. Yeah, and it makes sense for the Giants to release him because, they're not a cornerback away from being a competitive football team. There's a reality out there where I feel like they could be the absolute worst team in the division.
Oh, I think they are the worst team in the division.
I think it's a high probability because, you look at, we'll just take what I consider the bottom 2 teams in the division. And that's Washington and New York. Everywhere across the board, Washington kind of, they're better at just about every position. Maybe not running back.
David agrees.
Thank you, David. But the coaching staff, competent veteran coaching staff. I think right now in May. Hey Chip, how you doing, Charles?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where, Chip made my train of thought go off. Yeah. So right now in May, I feel like, and again, this could change. The division goes Dallas, Philadelphia, Washington, New York. And there's a likelihood we could win the division too. It's got to go at least 1-1 against Dallas. You have to. You can't go 0-2 against Dallas, not just for standing stakes, but because it freaking sucks losing 2 games against Dallas, man. It's terrible.
Right. But again, having a player like James Bradbury's caliber, and again, he had 18 pass deflections last year, which led the league, and he had 17 the year before that. I think he has 62 in the last 4 years.
It's crazy.
So he's an aggressive. He's there. He's around the ball all the time. You look at what he did last year, and now he's not going to be cheap. He's going to cost some money. But again, if you're able to the way I look at it is this: Darius Slay gets hurt. Where do you go from there? Because if you don't sign a cornerback 2, and Darius Slay gets hurt, then what are you doing? Zach McPherson playing over there. Then you're going to have the Tay Gowans and Kerry Vincents and Goodriches and Josh Jobies and whoever. See, that's where you get into. I understand you like these guys, the Mac McCains. You like these players for what basically their traits are, what they can be. But wouldn't you want to see them develop a little more than throwing them into the action right away, getting a veteran there to be able to plug him in? So even if Darius Slay gets hurt, it would be a big blow. But you can move a guy like Bradbury. He could be your number 1 guy, and then you still have the Zach McPherson, Tay Gowans, and all those players. But I think cornerback 2 is a must, no matter how much you like the young players that, either you sign undrafted free agents, or the guys the last couple of years you drafted later, traded for, or signed or picked up. I think James Bradbury is a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer. But again, you're going to have teams like the Raiders, the Chiefs. There's going to be teams that are be vying for his services.
And the reality is he might want to go to a team like that where he feels like would be closer to competing for a championship. The only thing I could say is, hey, listen, we'll pay you this and you get to play against your former team twice a year.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not worried yet because it's May, and Howie has shown that he's always looking to make trades. He's always looking to do whatever he has to do. Ronald Darby was a late addition, and that
Ronald
worked out.
Darby, they got him in training when they were in training camp in August.
Exactly. So I'm not worried yet. Now, if the season was starting tomorrow, I'd be a little more frantic, but I'm not super worried. That being said, you have to do your diligence. I'm sure Howie is. I'm sure he is. So David feels we're competitors. Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. I mean, we look good on paper right now, but we got to play these games, and we'll see. Got to stay healthy.
So, which they did last year, which I give them credit there. They did hire. I did hear they hired Ted Rath, who was with the Los Angeles Rams, and he's one of their, helping with sports science, all that kind of stuff, and the nutrition aspect, and because the Rams don't have many injuries the last couple of years. Their injury report's one of the lowest number of players each week. So Eagles did well with that last year. But another thing that came out today was Chuck Clark. Eagles talked about him with talked with the Ravens about him, and Jalen Reagor's name was mentioned, but nothing came, to fruition.
Let's get this done.
At this time,
what can we do to get this? Let's facilitate.
So, again, I did a little research here with Chuck Clark. Last year, he had a 56.3% completion percentage against him, 419 yards, 2 touchdowns given up. He had 2 interceptions, 12 pass deflections, 81.9 passer rating against him, and a 9.1% missed tackle percentage. But he's also just turned 27 years old the end of April.
Okay.
So he said he thinks he still has one more year left on his deal after this year, I believe, which is he's going to want to get paid. He's going to want a little bit more money the way his contract is structured. But again, you looking at a 27-year-old safety, I don't know why this wouldn't be a no-brainer in my opinion. With Jalen Reagor, Jalen Reagor, I just think he needs a fresh start.
I agree.
Hopefully he gets that fresh start and he puts up numbers or he does something for another team if he's not here. But Chuck Clark is a player. The Eagles need to work on their secondary. I know they're very high on Marcus Epps. I get that. I understand that. But again, what do you have? What do you really have? Anthony Harris is 31 years old. He struggled a little bit last year. He knows the defense. Okay. Marcus Epps played well, but again, he played well in a rotational role.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have Rodney McLeod there to take snaps away. You have Kayvon Wallace, Jared Maiden, Andre Chachere. To me, you need to add another veteran in the back end because, again, what did I say with Darius Slay is what I'm going to say. What happens if Anthony Harris gets hurt? He's 31 years old. What happens if he gets hurt? Then what is it? Is it Kayvon Wallace and Marcus Epps?
Ew.
Don't you want to not have a big-time liability on your defense?
My whole concern here is we are 2 injuries away from this defense, the secondary, looking like the hand that Jim Schwartz was dealt the last couple of years he coached here.
I don't want to, and you're right, and I don't want to see Josh Hawkins and, Michael Jacquetts and those type of players. Now, Rasul Douglas and Chandon Sullivan both got paid this offseason. But again, when Chandon Sullivan was playing for the Eagles, he wasn't playing very well. Or Trey Sullivan, I don't remember him. And all these players that they had, I don't want that to be the situation this year. And you make a great point there. You don't want to see these guys who have no experience being thrust into the action, playing against the Dallas Cowboys, playing against Washington, and teams with very good receivers or good receiving cores to put you into a predicament that we saw a lot of last year when you played these great quarterbacks. And you want to be able to kind of take control of the game a little bit. And I just think you need to add veteran. And again, like you said with the cornerback situation, it is only May. Yeah. You have opportunity to do something in June, in July. There's a lot of teams that have a loaded secondary that they're not going to be able to keep everybody. So options will come available. Options will come up, whether it's through trade, whether it's through somebody gets released. But we're going to mention it. It seems like we mention it every year about the secondary. But I think it's the depth aspect, because you need 2 to 3 really good corners in this league on your roster because of how many receivers teams play at a time, or even tight ends who are receivers, and all the things that an offense can do. You want to be able to put forth your best allotment of players to be able to contend and be able to battle that. So,
and you can't put Maddox on the outside.
No, he's perfect on the inside. You leave him in the slot. That's where he excelled last year.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I'm concerned, but I'm not overly concerned at this time. So we'll see how he does. I didn't expect the Darby trade when it happened. So who knows?
No, I didn't expect that one either.
Maybe they can trade back for Jalen Mills.
I like Jalen Mills as a safety. I like him, but
yeah, I didn't mind Jalen Mills. I mean, for what you got out of the guy from a 7th round draft pick, he was fine.
I agree. And the more and more I think of it, I'm not really sure they're going to trade Andre Dillard.
It's one of those things where it hasn't happened yet. So
now, if a team's offensive tackle goes down,
he's gone.
Then I could see possibly the price tag going up a little bit, but otherwise I don't see that happening right now because depth is key. You just waived Nate Herbig, who was picked up by the New York Jets, but to me let's wait and see. The schedule was released today, so then going into the end of this month into next month, you're going to have the OTAs, mini camps, all those ramping up a little bit, get to see some players on the field. So it is a fun time. It's starting to get into the summer months in the next couple months. So football will be ramping up as always. We have a couple of fun ideas in terms of shows that we have on our minds, because in the midst of summer, it comes to be a little bit of a lull. So we are going to try to come up with something fun. Now, it may not be fun for some fans who don't want to hear some of the things we'll be bringing up.
We'll have a good time. Come on now.
But again, it's what it is. I'm going to run down some of the sponsors here, and then we'll just do a quick wrap up and get us out of here. So we have Statement Games, fun-free twist on fantasy sports. The link is in the bio. AATSportsNetwork.com/shop. Just check out all the gear that we have. Support your local podcast. Check that out. Link is in the bio. Symbol, the soccer mark for sports, symbol.com. Use the promo code AAT Sports when you sign up. Vinny's Pizza and Restaurant, located off the Iroquois Trail in the Old Town Shopping Center in Allentown. Visit them today, www.vinnyspizzapa.com. And also Stuff to the Grills, located in the Iroquois Trail in the Old Town Shopping Center, same as Vinny's Pizza. www.stufftothegrills.com. Get your lunch and dinner. Triple Threat Bets at TripleThreatWagers.com. Check that out. Basketball season will become, it's kind of ending here in the NBA with the playoffs, and the college basketball season will be starting up in a couple more months. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, we have that. And thanks for joining. Mike, thank you for joining me. Thanks everyone who tuned in. it's fun. The schedule was released. We got to see now. We can pencil in, see when we're going to be going to games, see when we're going to be checking out our Eagles in person, whether it's on the road or at home. And we have some news that we'll be ironing out in the next couple weeks. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, following our Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, podcast. Download all our episodes. So definitely take a look, check out all of that. For the week, we have, of course, our show on Wednesday nights. It is a Thursday night tonight because of the schedule release, but usually it'll be Wednesday nights, 9:15. We'll be going live. Burning Bridges, Sunday nights, 8:30. I think we'll be having one this weekend. I've talked to Jeremy about that. Birds, Beers, and BS. Definitely check them out. That is YouTube only. Make sure you check Jeff and Peanut out with all their shenanigans. Definitely a fun listen. If you have not watched it, you have to watch it. It's great. Peanut knows how to push all of Jeff's buttons and make it worthwhile of a watch.
So good.
And Chip and Drip. Definitely check that out on Monday nights. I know Chip's going to have a lot to say with the going on in Philly sports, him and JD. So definitely check that out. Join in there, the comments there. And then around across the pitch, the Union Soccer Show, definitely check them out. Dave does a great job. And, with all our contact, also AAT Sports _ on Twitter, you'll get all those shows. You'll be able to follow all that. So with that, thank you for watching. Anything else, Mike?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Dallas sucks.
I like that. It came to my head before we closed out. There is one more thing. Saturday morning, our next episode of AATBirds Fandemonium will drop. This one is going to be with Sam Wilson. She talks about her fandom and her Eagles fandom. So definitely check that out. It's going to be a fun show. So tune in to that. It's only on our YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button so you get those notifications and check that out Saturday morning, 8 a.m. But with that, very happy and healthy. Go Birds.
Go Birds.